if I ask you a question?
Fire away.
Who are you, and how the fuck did I wind up in your car?
Before you get all your panties in a bunch there, boy, let me tell you a story.
Story? What kind of story could you possibly have to tell me?
There was this guy. He was a friend of mine. Let's just call him Bob. Bob was an insecure kid. You know, the type of guy that frequently fucked up, but he always meant well? He has this brother, an up-and-coming figure in the crime world, the kind of guy that everyone respected. Bob's brother used to take him to this exclusive after-hours club. Bob couldn't help but notice the level of respect and attention that his brother would receive at this establishment. Bob loved his brother's way of life. Bob respected his brother's way of life. Bob thought to himself, one day, I'm going to be just like my brother. Years passed. Bob came to a certain crossroads in his life when he thought now was the time to begin his own career in the field of crime. Not only was he going to make a lucrative career in his chosen profession, but he would win his brother's respect and loyalty forever. He knew that there had to be individual elements that, when discovered, would mesh together to create the makings of a perfect criminal. He would venture down to the Sunday matinee on the corner and upon return would try to imitate his big screen heroes.
You talking to me?
He racked his brain. I mean, he just could not figure out the formula.
I got you move right here.
Quickly becoming frustrated, Bob ultimately decided to think small. You know, like burglary, arson.
Ooh, hot.
Some shit like that.
Hot.
After getting a little experience under his belt, Bob quickly decided to move on to his ultimate masterpiece. He was going to knock off this house over on the East End. Family of 4 loaded to the kill. He knew for sure that this little act of criminal perfection was going to win his brother's loyalty forever. There I was. There was Bob. It was a very chilly autumn night. The family had already left for their weekly bingo at the Y. Getting into the house, that was the easy part. His brother had taught him a few tricks a couple of years back. Anyway, as soon as Bob entered the house, he knew right away that he had picked a gold mine. Not wasting a second of time, he immediately went for the expensive stuff. Instantly, Bob heard the ticking. And this is where I need to pause the story. I need to tell you one little side note about Bob. Bob has a severe case of ADD. That's right. The boy just could not focus. And it all started with that clock. He could hear its rhythmic ticking from across the room. And the tail, sweeping gloriously back and forth, and back and forth. Ultimately, this night was going to turn out to be the longest night of Bob's little life. Suddenly it hit. What was Bob thinking? How could he have become so sidetracked? Well, since the family was still out and about, he still had time. He must complete this little chore at hand. There was too much riding on this robbery to be screwing around. That's when Bob went back to work. Well, not exactly.
Ooh.
This is the part of the story where Bob's nightmare instantly became a reality. That's right. The family had returned. Why were they home so early? I don't know. Maybe they crapped out at the bingo parlor. It didn't really matter. What did matter is that Bob's plan was foiled. But kaput! Fuck! He knew at that instant that his brother's respect was gone forever. Bob had fucked the simplest of crimes. I mean, a crime that any dumbass white bread cracker could handle. You get in the house, you steal the stuff, and you get out. It was that easy. It was that easy. What the fuck happened? What? When he saw the camera. The old Brownie Hawkeye SK-3251. He realized at that instant that if he wasn't going to make out of this house with his precious loot, then he would give the family something to talk about for years to come. Time slipped on by, and everyone went about their daily routines. They never thought an instant about that chilly autumn night. Until the day they got this phone call. The call that would haunt them forever. I've got a roll down here at the lab that might be of concern to you. But I didn't take any pictures, Mrs. Neiman said. Did you take any pictures? We didn't take any pictures, replied her husband and kids. But being the curious type, Mrs. Neiman decided to venture down to the lab and see what could possibly be going on. As soon as she entered the lab, she couldn't help but feel that maybe the people at the lab knew something that she didn't. When she finally returned home later that evening, she did something that she would regret for the rest of her life. She carefully opened the packet of mysterious photographs and slowly pulled out the glossy 4x5s. She cautiously went through each photograph one by one until she saw something from the corner of her eye. There was Bob, in perfect Kodachrome color, standing in her bathroom naked, with her husband's toothbrush up a part of his body where it did not belong. That's right, boy. It was a reach toothbrush. It reached all the way up his ass. It was up his ass so far it nearly touched his colon.
It was up his ass so far he couldn't shit for days. Are you listening to me, boy? It was up his ass. It was up his ass.